So, another reason I love assigning comics is that they tend to inspire us to think about justice in general and about social justice in specific. In both the books we have read so far this summer, the Penguin Classics Marvel Collection Black Panther and March Book 1, we have witnessed the protagonist struggling to create better societies. In Black Panther, that protagonist is the fictional T'Challa in Wakanda. In March Book 2, that protagonist is the non-fictional John Lewis in the United States of America. Though we will not be reading comics in Module 3, I hope that these two stories serve as inspirations as you first imagine a utopia, a future society that would be better because an injustice in our present society would no longer exist in it, and then write a practical proposal for your readers to take actions that will at least start to move our society in the direction of the utopia you imagine. As an additional source of inspiration for this, we'll start off this module by taking a close look at one of the most popular proposals for a path toward a utopia in modern times, John Lennon's 1971 song, Imagine. So, the word of the day is utopia. Now, you might be wondering, I thought we were reading a comic in Module 3. What about Scott McCloud's Understanding Comics? Well, after carefully considering how these first 3 weeks of our condensed course have turned out, I'm making a couple significant adjustments to the second 3 weeks of the class. First, I've decided to give you 2 weeks to work on your research paper for English 100 instead of the 1 week indicated in the tentative schedule at the end of our syllabus. That means I'm eliminating the separate essay I had planned for you to write about understanding comics during this week of the class. So, second, I am moving our reading of Understanding Comics to the last week of the class, and we will specifically look at sections of it that will inform your last 2 significant assignments, your visual verbal argument, and your final reflection. That is also the week we will read the comic that inspired John Lewis, Martin Luther King and the Montgomery Story, which has been called the comic book that changed the world. But back to this week. Because some of you will not yet have submitted your finished drafts of Essay 2 when I post this video, I wanted to create a slower start to this revised version of Module 3 to give you all a chance to catch up. With that in mind, there are only a handful of assignments due during this next week. 2 of those are pre-writing activities for the 2 sections of your research paper that are based on your personal experiences. That is, the sections that do not require you to have actually conducted your research to write. 3 of the assignments, including those 2 pre-writing activities, have due dates of 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday, July 11th. The last 2 assignments will require you to comment on classmates' pre-writing, essentially an informal form of peer review, by 11:59 p.m. on Thursday, July 13th. You'll find those assignments in the content section of Module 3. As soon as possible, definitely before those due dates have passed, you'll want to move on to the crafts section of Module 3. That's where you'll find the set of lessons meant to help you develop the skills and strategies you'll need to conduct and document your research. For this third essay for English 100, those will include conducting research in the field, in the library, and on the internet. Once I finalize that set of lessons, I will post a quiz based on them, similar to the quizzes you took at the ends of the craft sections in Module 1 and Module 2. That quiz and your rough draft of your research paper will both have a due date of 11:59 p.m. on next Sunday, July 16th. After that, your peer reviews of 2 classmates' rough drafts will have a due date of 11:59 p.m. next Tuesday, July 18th. And finally, your finished draft of your research paper will have a due date of 11:59 p.m. next Thursday, July 20th. That's twice as much time as you had to work on either your first essay or your second essay, because this third essay, your research paper, needs to be twice as long. And for this third essay, you need the additional time to find your own sources instead of using sources that I have found for you. So, as soon as you have finished Essay 2, I encourage you to start your writing process for your research paper by reading the prompt and making a plan to manage your time for these next 2 weeks. As always, if you have a question, you should feel free to either email me at cgreen@cerritos.edu or to send a message to my inbox on Canvas. Also remember that I'll hold 2 student hours during these 2 weeks you'll be working on your research paper, at 10 a.m. on Wednesday, July 12th, and at 10 a.m. on Wednesday, July 19th. Those are dedicated times when I will be available to answer questions you have about this significant assignment for English 100.